Welcome back, and today I've got a different type of model. I got another resin garage kit. It's the same type of garage kit that I did with the Mara Jade garage kit earlier, but this one here is this one is of the Baroness from G.I. Joe. This is going to be a little bit of an interesting model because it has the Baroness is mostly in black. So I'm going to have to be able to figure out how to shade different types of black. I picked up some new different shades of black, just slightly more darker grays and stuff like that, so I can hopefully be able to layer things out better than just having just completely just all black. And so that was, hopefully I can make that look good. I also picked up more of that that Pearl X pigment powder. The ones I picked up from Mara Jade was a micro pearl color, and that turned out pretty well. It gave it like a little bit of a sheen to it for like for glossiness to it, and make it look more like metallic and metal. I picked up something similar to that. This one is a carbon black, so I figured I could use that on some of the parts, especially the armor parts, to make it look like it's something different than just black. One of the other difficult parts about it will be the hair, because there is a lot of hair pieces on this piece, and I test fit. I've already trimmed away all the pieces, all the excess pieces, and also fitted it, washed it, clear coated it for ready for paint. So all that's already been done. With the hair, I test fitted all of it except for two pieces, because there's two pieces I just can't figure out exactly where it fits on the piece. It's one of those things where there's too many pieces and too many hair pieces on there, so I probably won't figure out exactly where that goes until I start gluing things together. So hopefully I'll figure out where those go. And the instructions itself, which is not really instructions, it's pretty much just a part list and a vague idea of where things go, and that's basically all I got. So it has I have a vague idea where the pieces are supposed to go, but I don't have no idea how exactly it fits in. So hopefully that won't be an issue. So yeah, let me get started. Let me figure out exactly where I'm going to start at. I think I'm going to start on with a slightly darker, not darker. This is a bit more of a little bit lighter than a regular black, and I'm going to work on getting some of the suit painted first, and I'll probably end up going ahead and painting the gun. She comes with like a Uzi, so I'm going to go ahead and paint that too while I'm at it. I'm going to do a base coat in this darker, really dark gray. It's almost black. It's called like a wrought iron, so it's almost black. Alright, I finished painting that darker gray onto most of the bodysuit of the bodysuit pieces. I initially painted this black, but I decided I was wrong and it needed to be painted that dark gray. I also painted the gun black. And I painted the hands and the gloves black as well, along with the belt. I initially painted the belt that gray color, but I decided that was wrong, and I'd like it better if I did a base coat of it on black. The gray took me 2 coats to paint it, to get it to the proper color. whereas the black just takes one coat. Now the black that I used, I didn't realize it, but I thought it was a flat black, but apparently it's more of a glossy. It's not glossy, but I like working with more of a flat black, but it'll work. It'll work for what I'm using it for. This would be fine, especially with the gun and the gloves. It's fine with the more glossy black. I'll just have to remember not to use that for when I'm wanting to use black for other pieces. So now I'm going to do a wash on the bodysuit. Now I'm going to do a wash with black, because you have to go for wash. You want to get into the crevices and highlight the shadows of the piece. And to do that, you need a darker color. Well, this is already pretty dark. The only way I'm going to get it any darker is if I use black. So black is it. So I'm going to use a wash of black, and I'm also going to do a dry brush on the gun. Dry brush on the gun and on the hands. The hands I'm going to dry brush, do a light dry brush of the gray that I use on the bodysuit. So that would make it slightly different. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to dry brush the belt, but I haven't quite figured out exactly what I'm dry brushing it with. So I'll figure it out. It might be the same whatever I end up dry brushing the gun with. It's probably going to be a dark gray, maybe. So I'll see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started for a wash. Like I've stated before, what you need with a wash, you need to get your colors that you need. What you need is to add a 50-50 water alcohol mix. This is acrylic, so normally if you're using other things other than acrylic paint, like if you're using regular model paint, you would use thinner. But since this is not regular model paint, I'm using acrylic paint. You're going to use a water alcohol mix, 50% alcohol, 50% water, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to the mix here. Mix that up. What you want is you want the mixture to be almost like ink. So you're going to see it kind of like that, where it just starts to run. Because that way it will just go right into the crevices that which you're putting it to. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do that wash and do some dry brushing on those pieces. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, I got a wash on. Of course, you're not going to really tell that much big of a difference. There's a little slight difference in some of the shadows. I mean, I'm going dark onto I'm putting black on a really dark paint, so there's not going to be that big of a change, but it's slightly there. I can tell a little bit of a difference. The gun is just about done. I'm going to go ahead and put some slight silver highlights on it to make some damage on the gun. And the gloves I painted I dry brushed along with the belt. The belt ended up doing a darker gray, and different than the dark gray that I used on the gloves. What I used on the gloves, I'm going to now dry brush onto the bodysuit pieces. Also on the gloves, there are spots where it looks like to be like brass knuckles on the gloves. I'm going to go ahead and paint those silver too. So I'm going to go ahead and paint those silver, do the silver highlights on the gun, and do a dry brush. Now a dry brush, I don't think I explained it earlier. A dry brush is just basically you're loading the brush up with paint, and then you're just lightly putting the color on top of the on the piece. Pretty much you're getting the highlights. Where a wash would go into the crevices and increase the shadows and bring out the shadows. A dry brush will go on the surface, and you want to go from darker to lighter. So you want to do a lighter color on the dry brush to bring out the highlights off the piece. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't know if that shows up on the camera too well, but there it is with the dry brush. I can tell an immediate difference. It really does make the things pop, especially in this area where it has like the like there's a lot of detail. It makes it pop out a lot more. You see it a lot in the legs if it shows up. I got several pieces completely finished except for sealing. I do need to seal the pieces. The gun, completely done. The belt is completely done. The gloves, the hands are completely done. The waist area is completely done, along with part of the legs here. These are done. And one arm is done. The other arm's not done because it has a piece of armor on it that needs to be painted. But yeah, so those pieces are completely done except for they need to be sealed. And I will seal those up later. So the next thing I'm going to do will be I'm going to work on the black armor sections, which will be the arm bracelets. The arm bracelets. There's some knee pads. And I was going to do the boots. The same color as I do the armor, and so yeah, I'm going to do those. So for those, I'm going to paint it. I'm going to do a black, and I'm going to go ahead and do that gloss black too, with that glossy black that I had before. And I'm going to. This is where I'm going to use that Pearl X pigment powder. That's where I'm going to use that in. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there, and then I'm going to put some of that pearl stuff in here, and I'm going to use that as my base coat. So hopefully that will turn out really well and look nice. I got that on there. Now, I was kind of worried there for a moment because when I was putting it on there, it didn't look like the sheen, the pearl essence that I was putting on there, the pigment powders. But at first it didn't look like it was going to do anything. But then it wasn't until after they dried that it looked like that it started to show up. I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but it does have a sparkle to it. It does look more like a metallic look. And yeah, so I'm really happy the way that looks out. So I did all those pieces. I also did the straps here on the armor in black, just plain black without anything special on it, just black. So I'm going to go ahead. The only thing I have to do now on these armor pieces is I need to do the cobra insignia. to do that, I'm going to paint it. I'm going to paint it white first, because the reds, if I try to put the black on the red, it's not going to look right. So I'm going to paint it white first, and then after that dries, then I'll paint it red over top of it. That way it makes the red pop. And then I'm going to do some dry brushing on the belt, and do on the buckle, do a silver on the buckle, and then that would be it. There's a couple of pieces that I have finished. I have finished this piece of the arm, because the arm bracelet there doesn't need anything extra painted to it. The knee pads, they're finished. I mean, it's black. There's nothing more I can do with it. I can maybe put a dry brush on it, but I like the way they look. So these are fine. So yeah. So I got a few more things that I need to touch up on the legs. I need to add some red on the legs too, and do the cobra zinnias on this, and then those will be done, and then I can move on to something else. There we go. I got the red on there now. I also painted the straps black, dry brushed a little bit of different gray on there, and did the buckles, which would be, I dry brushed a little bit of silver on there. See, all the red. There's also a little bit of red on the bottom of the shoe. I also forgot that it has these little pouches. I painted those. Those are the same color as the bodysuit, so I just painted those. And I painted a belt buckle. The buckle, I just painted it black and then dry brushed silver. So I got that. Basically now the only thing I got left now is the head, the hair, which I got cleaning, and the base. So I'm going to start working on the base and doing the head. I'll do a base coat of flesh tone, and I'll do a mixed color for the base of the base. I got the base coat of the face. That's 2 coats. I got 2 coats on the base, right here. And so that's done. That's drying now. I've got a coat on the hair because I'm testing up the hair. I don't know exactly how I'm coloring the hair yet. But I'm doing a test. I'm doing one piece as a test to see how I want to do it. I have an idea, but I don't know how it's going to look. So I'm going to do a test real quick. And I'm going to do a test on that to see how that looks. But right now, the next thing I'm going to do is going to do a wash on the head. So I want to do a wash. Of course, it's darker. So I'm going to take some fresh coats and darken it up a little bit, and I'm going to use that as my wash. Alright, I got a wash on the head. This is still drying. As soon as that dries, I'm going to put a wash on that, a darker brown. And I'm still doing a test on the hair. I did a really deep, really hard, I did a base coat of gray, and then I did a really, really deep wash of black, just covered it in it. So hopefully that looked pretty good. And then, but right now I'm going to do a dry brush on the face with a lighter. Of course, you're going to get the highlights, so you want to do a lighter color. So I want to do a dry brush on the face, on the head, and then I'm going to do pink on the lips and pink in the eyes. I'm going to go ahead and do that. There's a dry brush. I got the lips, and I did the eyes. I did the eyes exactly the way I did the Mara Jade's eyes. The process I did those. It did come with stickers for the eyes, but of course I don't want to use the stickers. They did just a fine job without it. Plus, I got the base. Did a wash in the base. Now I just have to let it dry. It's still in the process of drying. The hair is still in the process of drying itself. So I'm going to let that dry. But the face itself is finished. So now the only thing I've got left to do is finish up the base. Which the only thing I got to do once this dries is do a light dry brush. And then once the hair dries, I'm going to do a dry brush on that also. And see how that looks and see how that turns out. If I like the way that works, if I like the way that looks on the test piece, I will do the rest of the hair that color. Alright, there's the base with the dry brush. Might touch up a little bit on the corner there. But yeah, there you go. Now the hair, I think that turned out alright, but I did another separate piece with just and I like that one a little bit better. So I'm going to use this technique right here. I'm going to just paint it black, paint the hair completely black, and do a light dry brush of darker gray on it. And that would be my hair. So let me go ahead and do all that, and then the only thing I have to do after that would be to seal everything up, and then I can start assembling. I got all the pieces now completely painted. There's the hair, the base. So all these little hair pieces. Now the only thing I have left to do, I even did the glasses. The glasses was something I totally forgot about. So I painted the rims of the glasses. So the next thing I have to do is do a seal. I have to seal it up. I do two types of seals that I use. I will use a matte varnish. And I will use a gloss varnish. So that's what I will be using. So let me go ahead and do that. I finished the sealing. Got it all sealed up. Different with the matte and the gloss. So all my pieces are completely done. Now it's time for me to go to the assemble. Alright, there you go. All completed. And here it is. Just like I thought the hair was a big pain to figure out where all the pieces went. But I finally figured it out. I think it turned out great. The slight changes in the blacks and the grays make it stand out and not look like it's just one color. And in the end, I'm quite happy with it. Until then, I'll see you next time.